some rainfall down in Jackson County on down toward Lawrence County, just south of Bedford down toward Bono, making its way to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. If you're going to be traveling along State Road 9, you got some strong winds over in central Bartholomew County. They're going to be making their way on over towards State Road 9. Elsewhere, heavy rainfall going on down to our south. Some rotation indicated right now down to south around 235 southwest of Seymour. That would be down around Medora, down toward the Brownstown area. Strong storms are going on now down in Jackson County. Lawrence County, still a small portion of Lawrence County under that severe thunderstorm warning just southeast of Bedford, and that goes until 2:15, so another 9 minutes to go on that one. Most of the action has been south of Interstate 70 over the last couple of hours, and we're watching these very powerful storms as they continue to just move on through. And now we've got a new tornado warning in effect. That one includes a portion, the rest of Jackson County on over toward Jennings County and a portion of Decatur County. So that's a new severe, make that the new tornado warning cell that's now in effect for a little bit later this afternoon. We'll get the time on that for you right now. That one just popped up as we're talking. So if you're watching us from Jonesville, Seymour, or North Vernon, now you've got storms moving on through your way. Decatur, Bartholomew, Jackson, and Jennings County until 2:30. Tornado warning in effect there for strong storms that are now moving on through. And that's the one that just popped up as we were talking on the air with the strong rotation with that storm cell that was just south and down in Lawrence County, now making its way through Jackson County and now going to affect a larger portion of Jennings County. We talked about how over in North Vernon, how you need to be ready for storms moving on there. And also in Decatur County, up around Westport, some strong storms going on across south central Indiana. So Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties, that's where the action is really starting to heat up right now from Jackson County into Jennings County, now covering most of Bartholomew County, most including the Columbus area, and also a small portion of Decatur County just south of Greensburg. So if you're going to be traveling around State Road 3, some strong storms to deal with and some gusty winds, as we still have that wind advisory in effect for winds that will gust 45 to 55 miles per hour around the storms coming up this afternoon.
And we've also been watching this both on Doppler radar, just looking at the classic here, but also been watching velocity and watching as we continue to pick up on the Doppler indicated rotation. Now, we have just alerted you about this latest tornado warning. Again, I do want to say it because this is new. Seymour, Jonesville, Chestnut Ridge, North Vernon, you need to be taking shelter because we do have a tornado warning now issued for you. Brownstown, this continues for you. Yours was set to expire soon. Now you're going until 2:30 this afternoon. So we will continue to be here over our regular programming because there is the potential for having a tornado on the ground here once we do start to pick up on that rotation. And I'll turn that on right now so that you can see. I'll come over and I will point this out to you because we do have so many warnings going on right now. There are so many different areas to look at. And so we're going to continue to watch on velocity maps so that we can really see where the rotation possibly is. You can see these brighter colors. Look at the green sliding over to the pink. Once you start to get those brighter colors so close together, that indicates that we could have rotation, which means we could have a tornado on the ground. All it takes is a little bit to slide that over, upright that, and you'll have a tornado. Brownstown, you have been in a tornado warning for a couple of minutes now, about 25 minutes already, but now this has been extended and that will go until 2:30. So you need to be taking shelter and staying there. Don't try to take pictures of this. We can talk about it after. Right now is the time to be safe. If you are within these red lines, North Vernon included, Jonesville, Seymour, you need to be going to your basement and staying safe. If you do not have a basement, you need to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Chris, we're watching, is that another one being lit up there?
That is a new one down to our south. That's extending the one for portions of Jackson County. We still have that tornado watch in effect. It goes until 5 o'clock this evening. Go to Max 6 for me. I want to show you some new information that we have in terms of what's going on with the watch areas. Most of the action has been east of US 31. A number of counties back to our west have been taken out of the tornado watch area. As you can see, Indianapolis is still part of the tornado watch area, but everything from Hamilton County, Boone County, Hendricks County, Morgan County, you're all all been taken out of the tornado watch area. Monroe County around the Bloomington area, back on over toward Greene County. Everything west of US 31, north of Interstate 70, no longer a part of the tornado watch area. But we've got a new tornado watch now, including to our northwest. That one does include counties northwest of Lafayette, across the area. A new tornado watch in effect there. We'll get the time on that one for you in just a bit. But our tornado watch here in central Indiana does go until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Everything from Muncie to Indianapolis on down toward Nashville, heading on down toward Bedford, still under the tornado watch that goes until 5 o'clock this evening. If you're watching us south of Interstate 70 from Rushville on down to the Ohio River, you're still under that tornado watch area. And now the warnings are starting to make their way into southern Shelby County, Decatur County, Jackson, Jennings, Lawrence County, and also a large chunk of Bartholomew counties, all under tornado warnings in effect right now for rotation signs with strong storms that are making their way on through. Star, let's go back out to our regular radar image.
Okay.
We've been looking at velocity on here, watching the strong showers and storms down to our south. So if you're watching us in areas west of US 31, you're all clear right now, but we may see a new line of thunderstorms coming up. What we're watching primarily, this is a clear area to our west. These are the strong storms that are going on right now. From Columbus to Seymour on down toward Medora, stronger thunderstorms down to our south, but severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Scott and Orange, Washington and Scott counties down to our south right now. Up around Greensburg, strong storms are now approaching your area. Decatur County now under that new tornado warning.
And we did just get this latest tornado warning now. You can see that outlined here just south and west of Seymour now, including some of our southernmost counties. And this has been issued until 2:45 now. So we are extending that even an additional 35 plus minutes. And I'm going to bring you in closer so that you can really see where this is outlined. This is south of Columbus. Columbus, you are still included in a warning. Seymour, you are still included in a warning. And the stretch back down into Brownstown, Medora, and back toward Mitchell as well. Bedford, right now you are not under a warning, but still dealing with some of that heavy rain, probably still some strong winds. Medora now included in this. Brownstown, if you are in Brownstown, you certainly need to be taking shelter, and you can see why. Look at these deep purples popping up near northeast, and then also toward Brownstown and Freetown. See how bright those colors are? Definitely a possibility that we have some large hail falling out that direction. I'll also turn on the storm report to see if we do get anything later here, because we have had multiple reports of hail to our south and west toward Kentucky, but right now this is still a very active situation as this continues to slide through our area. North Vernon is included in this. The worst of the storm is just to your south and west. So parts of North Vernon may not actually even be dealing with any rain whatsoever right now, but it's very close to you. You can see it on radar. And I'll loop this for the last hour so you can see how this is moving east-northeast. And so we could see parts of this make it into North Vernon as well. I'd like to turn on velocity also so that we can see this. And you can really see where that rotation is just west of the word Seymour, certainly moving into the town of Seymour. Brownstown right under where this velocity is indicating rotation right now. Freetown also right there. And this continuing to move east-northeast. We have it at about 55 miles an hour, which is extremely fast. You cannot outrun that. That is a situation where you have to be taking shelter, getting to your basement, staying put. We're getting close to the time where a lot of kids are released from school. This is the time where the teachers need to be making sure that the kids stay safe, stay inside. They can't be going out into this.
If you're tuning in to CBS 4 expecting to see the talk, I'm sorry you're stuck with me and Star this afternoon because we got some strong storms on Guardian radar. We're going to take the warnings off here and give you a clearer look at the rotation just to give you an idea what we're talking about. We're talking about the action swirling on the radar right now. What we're looking at is this area between Seymour and Jonesville. The radar just updated. It had been down around the Brownstown area, now making its way northeastward between Seymour and Jonesville, just south of I-65. And in this area, we're starting to see some strong rotation. That's the cell we've been tracking over the last couple of hours. Star actually started tracking that when it was down in Kentucky earlier this afternoon. On CBS 4 News at noon, she was tracking the storms across Kentucky, talking about how they were going to come this way, and now they are here. So that's why we're interrupting your regular programming. I know you'd rather see the talk, but we're on here today because we're talking about weather, and we're talking about tools you need to do, things you need to do rather, to keep you safe. So let's go on over to Max 4 and talk about our severe weather safety tips. You want to get to the lowest floor of the building that you're in, the center of the room, protect your head, and stay away from windows because not only do you have the possibility of wind damage associated with these storms, but you also have the possibility of stuff that gets picked up by the wind and gets thrown through your window. And also associated with these storms over the course of this afternoon have been some reports of some large hail making its way on through central Indiana. Let's go back to Max 5 right now. Stars zoomed in on that area between Jonesville and Seymour. That's the area that's under the tornado warning, but that's also the area where the rotation is strongest on radar right now.
Yes, and we've been watching this, like you said, Chris, all morning long as these storms evolved, strengthened, moved through the state of Kentucky, and continued in our direction. And we had that tornado watch issued hours ago. We've been preparing you. We went on Facebook Live and talked about how there was the possibility of these strong storms. And so certainly keep in touch with us on social media. Chris Wright, myself, Star Dairy Weather on Facebook and Twitter. And we will keep you updated in the days to come as well. We're going to be keeping an eye on these strong patterns as we head into severe weather season. This is the very beginning, and one of the things that I do want to point out is it doesn't have to be tornado season to have a tornado. You can have a tornado any time of the year, any time, day or night. That's why we always advise that you do have a weather radio. You get those at your local drugstores, and they just are they're your storm alert system. That's going to be what's going to wake you up in the middle of the night if this does happen at nighttime. It's also something that can keep you alert during the daytime. If you do have the Weather Authority app, you can turn on the alerts on that as well so that you can be alerted. If you aren't paying attention to the weather that week, we'll let you know if there's something to watch out for. This has been something that we've been tracking for a couple of days, knowing that there was this risk involved with this weather system, and now as we got within 24, 36 hours of it, we knew that we were going to be dealing with something serious here. And then just a few hours ago, the Storm Prediction Center did issue that watch, that tornado watch. And it does look like we're getting some updates here. You can see the blinking red lines there around Brownstown. Medora, it's coming up on 2:15 now. It's almost 2:18 here as we watch these warnings try to update. You can see it there, still staying strong. Medora and Brownstown still included in that tornado warning. Seymour, you are included in a separate tornado warning, and I circled where that rotation is. When you start to see those bright colors right next to each other, we could have some rotation, and we have not had confirmation from the ground quite yet, but we have been watching this on radar, and that Doppler indication is certainly enough that the Weather Service was willing to issue a warning on that. So I'll bring this out a little bit wider so you can see that we have multiple tornado warnings right now. Actually, I'll switch this back to our radar image so that you can see this. We've been saying toward Greencastle, Bloomington. This is now to the east of you. We are now mainly concerned from Richmond, Indiana toward Rushville, Greensburg, Columbus still on the edge of this toward Seymour, and this is all heading toward Madison, Indiana, and heading toward Cincinnati as well. And then we're going to also back up here so you can see that this stretches all the way back into Kentucky, still multiple warned cells, the yellow indicating where they have severe thunderstorm warnings, and you can really see how brightly colored some of those are. The deep hail core is possible there.
And now we got some videotape from down in Columbus, someone from the Walmart parking lot down there took this video for us. Take a look at the monitor there. We don't know, I can't really see it from where I'm right now.
You can see the rotation,
yeah.
You can see the edge of this if you just look right over the treetop. Once this gets back here, there you go, the treetop on the left. You can see the very edge of that. That could possibly be a tornado. It's hard to tell because you can't see the ground and can't see if it is for sure connected, but the width of that does say that something is going on, no doubt. You can see people still driving around nearby. You don't want to be on the ground dealing with this. Of course, you want to stay put and definitely go to your safe place if you have that opportunity. You want to be staying inside when we're dealing with something like this. Are those tornado sirens right near there too as well?
I think there are. Let's go to Max 4 for a second here, and I'm going to show you what's going on with a live Guardian radar in terms of where the warnings are going on right now across the area. We got a warning in effect for a tornado warning for Jackson County. That'll affect about 7,400 people. That one goes until 2:45. We've also got another tornado warning in effect. Zoom on that one. Take that off.
Just multiple warnings stretching all the way back.
And that one, Bartholomew, Decatur, Jackson, and Jennings counties, that one goes until 2:30. Now, we're talking about areas affecting about 75,000 people across south central Indiana right now. So that's why we're on the air interrupting your entertainment programming, because we want to make sure we keep those 75,000 people safe that are under the gun right now for severe weather. Most of the state right now is dry. We do have a tornado watch in effect. It goes until 5 o'clock this evening. A number of counties over west central Indiana have been dropped from the tornado watches. All of the activity has been down across the southeastern corner of the state, but we don't want to let our guard down now, because severe weather can occur in and close to the watch area. So that's something we have to watch out for this afternoon with the very intense weather that's going on across the area. Again, we do have that tornado watch in effect until 5 o'clock today. The red areas, those are the ones that are under that tornado watch. We do have a new watch in effect for Benton County, just one county northwest of Lafayette. So let's see how long that one goes. That one goes until 6 o'clock this evening for Benton County. The rest of us are under the tornado watch that goes until 5 o'clock this afternoon.
And we do have video from western Jackson County, if we can look at that as well. Once you are safe, we would like to see, of course, your videos. Right now, that looks like some pretty mean cloud cover for sure. These clouds moving very quickly, and this was taken by state police. Of course, they're keeping a very close eye. State police trained to spot these storms, and you can actually become a storm spotter as well. The National Weather Service puts on these classes every spring. They're going on this week and next week. Weather.gov, and you can search for their spotter talks if you want to learn more about how to look at these clouds and know what is dangerous and what isn't. You can take these classes and actually get formally trained by professional meteorologists, and they'll tell you what you should be looking for. No doubt this is an intense day. I'm sure many people have been taking videos of the clouds. I know actually some people we work with were outside taking videos of it because it is a very intense sky. Now, Indianapolis mostly quieting down right now. I'm looking at radar here on Max 4 I'm on, or Max 5 I'm on actually, and if I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that, yes, we did have quite the cell move through Indianapolis. Look at this that moved through. If you were in the central or southern portions of the city, no doubt you heard that downpour. That really picked up as that moved into the edges of Hamilton County and then pushed into Madison County just before 2 o'clock. Looks like it could have had a hail core on it. So if you are in that area, if you did pick up on any hail, now that things are quieting down toward Hamilton and Madison County, also Marion County, if you did pick up on any hail, we would like to hear about that. You can post on my Facebook, Star Dairy Weather, or you can post on Chris Wright's Facebook, and CBS 4 Indy also would be taking those reports right now. I'll bring you in closer toward Cumberland and Greenfield, where we're seeing heavy downpours, parts of New Pale as well. That's going to continue to slide away, and then you'll quiet down, but we certainly are going to be still dealing with the wind for hours left. We have that wind advisory in place all evening. You're going to hear those winds howling as the windstorm moves through. Shelbyville getting some heavy rain right now. That's moving into Blue Ridge. St. Paul right on the edge there. So some of you in St. Paul hardly feeling anything at the moment. But then here just south of Columbus, we do have what's left over of these tornado warnings. Columbus no longer in that warning, but was included in that earlier. That has since expired. Now we're watching as these storms move through Westport, moving into Westport now actually. Seymour getting some of the heaviest. That's actually going to continue to pick up for you though, because look at what's back in Brownstown. Very heavy rain. I'll take off the warning right now just so that you can see how bright those colors are. You go from red to that brighter red to purple. Possibly some hail associated with this that is tornado warned. I'll turn on velocity so that we can see that there still is rotation in these. And we're continuing to watch that toward Jonesville, and then also just south of Brownstown. Notice that, those really bright colors. Again, I'm going to turn off this warning just briefly so that you can see how bright these colors are. The brighter these colors get, the more intense that storm could possibly be.
Yeah, let's go on over to Max 4 for a second. I want to show you something different on Live Guardian radar. Put our storm tracker on this large cell of thunderstorms going on through south central Indiana right now. If you're watching us from Horace, Greensboro, or Horace, Laurie, or Osgood, get ready. The storms are moving your way. They're moving to the northeast about 60 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from Decatur County and into Franklin County over southeast Indiana, you're going to see the showers and storms start to move on through. So what I'm going to do now is take off the warning layer and give you a closer look at what's going on with the storms that are going on. This is what SAR was just showing you just a while ago right now. Down between Columbus and Seymour, some very intense thunderstorms. There's a hail core here. Let's identify that one. Down southwest of Brownstown right now. That's a very strong part of a thunderstorm cell. There's some serious rotation in there. That's where we're indicating Doppler radar indications of a strong rotating thunderstorm. And again, they're moving off to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So we've been tracking them very carefully over the last couple of hours. Right now, the strongest storms are going on south of Interstate 70. I'll take you out a little bit wider and show you that most of the activity from Paoli to Bedford to Seymour to just south of Columbus on over toward Greensburg, everything moving off to the northeast. And that's what we're tracking right now on Live Guardian radar. Now let's go back over to Max 5. Star Dairy has more on these storms and what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and I did just want to take a peek at the wider view here as well, because you see that toward the Chicagoland area, they actually do have severe thunderstorm warnings out that direction as well. The south suburbs getting in on that, but also the south suburbs of Indianapolis dealing with this as well. We do have another warning that's just been issued, and you can see this popping up here. It's not a surprise because we have been watching these cores, and definitely with those deep purples, and then you turn on velocity, you can see just how strong this rotation is. And toward the Brownstown area, you see that live update as this rotation moves through. These colors are very bright, and you see those new lines now outlining toward Brownstown and toward Seymour. These are areas that have already been under this tornado warning. These are areas Chestnut Ridge, Seymour, Brownstown. You need to be taking cover because look at all of that rotation. This is continuing to move northeast at 45 miles an hour very quickly. And this is going to continue until 2:45. We do have another warning out until 2:45. So this is specifically for this area, though, Chestnut Ridge towards Seymour and Brownstown along 50. Now, you will notice that we do have the rotation there, and still we're talking about dangerous winds, severely strong winds. We do have some reports from Doppler indication that we could have some rotation with this. The National Weather Service looking at the same thing here and why they did put out this warning now. This again going until 2:45. We do have this moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Flying debris, of course, will be dangerous to those who are caught without shelter. If anyone you know is trying to take a picture of this, tell them they need to get inside right now. It's not worth the picture. You need to be inside taking shelter. If you are inside, stay away from those windows because any of that flying debris could be thrown against your house. And if that hits a window, it could shatter it. With these extreme winds, potentially some rotation there, potentially a tornado on the ground, that could be extremely dangerous. So stay away from that. If your children have bike helmets, they can put on their bike helmets to protect their heads. Heavy textbook can also protect your head in case something does come crashing through nearby you. But the bottom line is here, Brownstown towards Seymour, Chestnut Ridge, you are included in a tornado warning until 2:45. You need to be taking shelter. Basement is the best place you can be. If you don't have a basement, you need to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Stay away from windows. Don't try to run around and grab anything. This is the time to be taking shelter right now.
Let's take a look at Max 4. I put our storm tracker on the storms that Star was just talking about. There'll be at Cortland, Indiana at 2:31, Seymour at 2:33, Reading at 2:35, Scipio at 2:44, North Vernon at 2:46, and Muscatatuck at 252, and the wind's rotating with this storm that she was talking about. I just did an analysis of it. The winds are rotating inside that storm at about 70 miles per hour. So I'll put the warning layer back on here because we've got the tornado warnings in effect that go until 2:30 and 2:45, but we now also have new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Decatur, Bartholomew, and Jennings County until 3 o'clock. That severe thunderstorm about 8 miles southwest of Columbus and moving to the northeast at 65 miles per hour. So let me take the warning layer off here, and we'll put our storm tracker on that particular thunderstorm cell, and we'll take that one northeast towards 65 miles per hour, and you'll see why the area that's now under the severe thunderstorm warning down across Bartholomew, Jennings, and Decatur counties. It'll be near Clifty at 2:34, Horace at 2:42, Greensburg at 2:48, and Salt Creek at 2:35. And now let's go to max 5, make that max 5 in the 9-mon. Let's go Star.
Yeah, and Chris, I wanted to hop up here to really point out what we're watching on this velocity map. This is just another way to look at our Doppler radar readings, and this will tell us which direction the wind is going, if it's moving toward the radar beam or away from it. And when you start to see these brighter colors right next to each other, you can see in between the reds there, those pinks and those greens, that's indicating the rotation and heading toward Seymour. So that's why this has a tornado warning. You look toward this outline, heading toward Greensburg, you see that yellow. That is that severe thunderstorm warning. We don't have those velocity readings telling us that there's very much rotation out of this storm, so that is why you have the severe thunderstorm warning. Still very intense storms, no doubt, but this is why there is that difference. This heading toward Batesville, you could potentially end up getting extended into this, and we do have this severe thunderstorm warning going until 3 o'clock now, so we just keep adding on to these. And the hazards for that is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Think back to just a couple of weeks ago. We did actually get some 66-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Indianapolis. There were many spots where we did see damage to roofs, shingles all over some neighborhoods, and certainly things blown out of yards. We get tree damage with winds that strong. And so this is why we do have the National Weather Service warning this area. Certainly still extremely windy near Columbus because you're right outside of this whole area getting in on those high velocity readings. And then we still have multiple tornado warnings as well. And again, it's because of those readings showing that potential rotation. And this warning now going until, we do have that until 2:45. So still close to 15 minutes left on that. So if you are in Seymour within that red box, you do have to continue to take shelter. This is actually moving right toward you where you do see that rotation. And so we're most concerned right now about the area eastern Brownstown. That's where we're seeing those readings of rotation. That is continuing north and east toward Chestnut Ridge and mainly Seymour. Those areas are where we are most concerned about right now, so you need to be taking shelter. You can't be outside with this at all because flying debris can really injure someone.
Let's take a look at max 6 right now. We'll talk about the tornado watch is still in effect over most of southeast Indiana. That tornado watch is going to a 5. The darker red areas down to south, those are where the tornado warnings are in effect, and that's where Star was talking about down across Jackson and Jennings County. And you see that yellow box there, that's a severe thunderstorm warning that covers another part of Jennings County, parts of Bartholomew County, on into Decatur County. Now let's go over to max 4 and take a look at live Guardian radar, and I'll take you back a couple of hours and show you how these storms have tracked across central Indiana this afternoon, mainly to our south, down around Bedford and Seymour. That's where all the action has been for the last couple of hours. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Decatur, Bartholomew, and Jennings counties until 3 o'clock. Tornado warnings in effect for Jackson and Jennings counties until 2:45 for storms indicating strong rotation now moving through south central Indiana. As you're watching north of Interstate 70, not a whole lot of action going on, so let's zoom into where the strong storms are right now, down to our south. And we'll show you both the tornado warning area and the severe thunderstorm warning area down over south central Indiana. Precipitation rates have been very heavy with these storms as they moved on through. We have not talked much about the possibility of flash flooding, but that is going to be something we'll have to worry about over the next couple of hours with some heavier rainfall making its way across the area. Severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect and tornado warnings are in effect across central Indiana. So we have a very active weather situation going on. Tornado warning for Jackson County until 2:45, and then farther north we got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect from Columbus on over toward Greensburg, and those severe thunderstorm warnings, they go until 3 o'clock this afternoon. So a very active weather situation over the southeastern corner of the state. Star?
Yeah, and I do want to show you this video, Chris, because ISP has been fantastic about keeping us in the loop. They took some video here looking east. I'm not sure of their exact location, though, but this was in just west of Brownstown is where they were taking this. And would this be within the last hour then, Katie? Within the last 2 minutes, they just sent this right to us. And so you can see how this moves right through Brownstown, some of the heaviest of this storm, some of the strongest portions of the storm. And so ISP has been keeping us in the loop on that. They were able to hear the sirens. Of course, sirens best heard when you are outside. That's really what they're meant for. And so a really good reason to, of course, always have your weather radio handy, or if you want the free weather app that we offer here from CBS 4, you can download the Weather Authority app in your app store or your Play Store, and those are going to be free to download. And then you can always have those alerts right on hand. We've been tracking these all morning long as this storm system did move on through. Some of these cells we've been tracking since they were back in Paducah, Kentucky, and continuing in our direction. And again, you're looking at some video from ISP. This is just west of Brownstown, looking east toward Brownstown, where we did see some of the worst of this storm moving through. Still watching this as this does move on into Seymour now. So the system you're looking at now moving into Seymour, that is tornado warned. And I'll bring this back up on Max 5 so that you can see this storm as that continued to move through. And this is what we were watching here. So they were just west of Brownstown, likely right along this route. And then that cell moved on through. They were looking east at it. And this is now continuing towards Seymour. You can see how bright these colors are. And that's going to continue to be bringing that potential for a hail core. Some damaging hail certainly possible out of this. That whole area tornado warned. And then toward Jonesville and north and east, you see that yellow box, which is that severe thunderstorm warning going here for just about another 25 minutes. And you can see why, because this storm, though it's moving quickly, still has quite a life left in it, as it is so very strong. That will take a bit to really fall apart. But right now, the worst of that moving through Seymour, and I'll go ahead and I'll look back at velocity again, Chris.
Take a look at Max 5 right now. So, Dar, this is the area you were talking about with the strong rotation that's now making its way. Make it Max 4 for, I'm sorry. That's the one that's going to show you the strong rotation right now going on over by Seymour High School on over toward Cortland, Indiana. And that's a strong thunderstorm cell that we're zooming in on, showing you the rotation, that hook echo right there around the Seymour area. As you talked about, the most intense activity right now around the Seymour area. Lawrence County and Jennings counties, the tornado warnings have been canceled. The only county under a tornado warning at this time is now Jackson County. And as you can see what's going on around Seymour right now, a very large hail core around State Road 258 heading on over toward Cortland, and strong winds being pulled up into that thunderstorm between Seymour and Reading. In that orange to red area there just south of Reading, that's air being pulled into the storm cell, rotating around itself, wrapping around itself, getting stronger right on top of Seymour High School there, which is just west of the word Seymour right there on the map, and also just west of Shadowwood Golf Course. So hopefully no one's out on the course right now doing any maintenance or anything like that, because we're talking a very intense storm cell right now down in Jackson County. A tornado warning there goes until 2:45, and we also have severe thunderstorm warnings farther up in Decatur, Bartholomew, and Jennings counties, and they go until 3 o'clock. Star?
And I wanted to show you actually the comparison here between this and looking at velocity as well, because what Chris was pointing out, that hook echo, this is classically what you look for and how that's wrapping in. Of course, you have that heavy, bright pink there where we could be potentially picking up on some hail. But notice that. Let me flip this one more time. See where that wraps in? And that's right where we're seeing that rotation on the velocity map. You switch this over to velocity so that you can see just how fast in which direction the wind is going. Once you start to see those brighter colors popping up and being different nearby, there could potentially be some rotation there, potentially a tornado. And we have been watching this for a while and seeing how it intensifies. And I'll turn this back over to the warning so that you can really see this. Seymour, still tornado warned. You can see that red box around that stretching to the north and east. There's that live update moving on through. I see that now heading toward the severe thunderstorm warned area just south portions of Jonesville right now, going to see this really picking up. You're going to hear this rain. It'll be very intense. Could also have some small to medium-sized hail along with this. And once it does pass, which is not now, we'll have to check in with folks nearby, and they will let us know if they were actually picking up on any hail. But no doubt you're hearing the wind roaring right now, those heavy downpours, and this continuing to slide north and east. I believe at last check it was moving about 45 miles an hour.
That's correct.
And that is going to continue in that direction to the north and east. North Vernon, you are right in the spot where we're not really seeing much right now. Very quiet, but look at how close you are to this intense storm. This is going to continue to slide toward your direction, so some portions of northern North Vernon could get in on the edge of these heavy downpours, but you're still going to want to avoid going outside to look at this. I know it's tempting, but we're going to look at it on radar here because this is a very intense storm. And I'll back off here so that you can see velocity once more and see where that rotation is really landing. And then there's another look at that warning.
Let's take a look at Max 4 right now, just to show you what's going on there. We're tracking a strong thunderstorm cell. We're really concerned about Jackson County. Two particular thunderstorm cells in Jackson County have the county under a tornado warning until 2:45. And that strong one we were showing you that was still just west of Seymour has now moved more towards Seymour, Reading, and Jonesville, just east of Bobtown, just west of Fleming, and northeastern Jackson County right now. That tornado warning does go until 2:45, and that storm is moving off to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from northwestern Jennings County, southern Bartholomew County around Jonesville, be advised that storm is getting very close to you. So now I'll take you out to a little bit of a wider view. Let's take the arrows off. And I'll take you out to a little bit of a wider view. And we'll put the warnings back on. And you see the red boxes indicating tornado warnings for most of Jackson County right now, and then severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now from Jonesville to Greensburg, covering a large portion of Bartholomew County, northwestern Jennings County, and most of Decatur County under severe thunderstorm warning. That does go until 3 o'clock this afternoon. So now I'll put our storm tracker on that strong thunderstorm cell down around Reading and take it out about 45 miles per hour, about 45 miles rather. And we take that storm into Scipio at 248, Grammer at 252, Alert at 254, Harper at 258, and Westport at 301. And now we got a new tornado warning in effect, and that tornado warning is for that cell we're watching down in.
That's going toward North Vernon right now. North Vernon is now included in that tornado warning,
And that's
Chris.
the one we were watching coming out of the Seymour area. That's that one particular thunderstorm cell that moved just near the high school that's now making its way, crossing the county line, crossing on over from our Bartholomew County into portions of Jennings County and a little bit of southern Decatur County right now. So the activity now shifting from Seymour on over toward North Vernon. So let's get you in a little bit closer here. We'll take the warning layer off and come in a little bit closer and put a few more towns on here so to give you an idea of who's under the gun right now. If you're watching us from Scipio, that storm is now affecting your area. You're under a tornado warning. Westport also under a tornado area. Let's see if it does include Millhausen because there's Greensburg there. Just south of the Honda plant, we'll put our warning back on here. And you see the Honda plant is under the tornado warning. I'll make that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we still have a tornado warning for Decatur and Jennings County until 3 o'clock. So tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings are wreaking havoc down over southeast Indiana right now. So I'll give you a little bit of a wider view and show you all of the counties under the warning right now. Everything from Brownstown to Seymour to North Vernon on over toward Greensburg, you're under either a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning until 3 o'clock this afternoon.
And Chris, this was a Doppler indicated report from the National Weather Service. They did issue this tornado warning based on Doppler indicated rotation. And we have been watching the cell. No doubt if you've been sitting with us, you know we keep pointing toward the Seymour area that's now sliding north and east. North Vernon is included in this because we see where that's wrapping around is just on the southern point of where you see the brightest colors. This is going into effect now. This tornado warning is going to last until 3 o'clock, and it is moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. We've seen a lot of difference in between some of these cells. We've seen as low as 45 miles an hour in movement, as high as 70 miles an hour. This one's landing at 65 miles an hour. That is way too fast to be able to outrun If you are in the North Vernon area towards Scipio, Westport, you are going to have to take shelter right now. Go into your basement. If you don't have a basement, you need to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. You need to stay away from windows, and don't be tempted to go look at this, because flying debris can be extremely dangerous, and that is going to be one of our main concerns with this. We've also been watching the potential for a hail core. That also could be a problem, and we're looking at North Vernon around 250. So just within the next couple of minutes, we're going to see this picking up, and then also continuing to slide north and east again at 65 miles an hour. This does go until 3 o'clock. So we continue with this situation where we have multiple tornado warnings at once. And you can see just to the north there toward Elizabethtown, Jonesville still included in that severe thunderstorm warning. And that's because you are on the northern side of this storm. You're getting that intense heavy rainfall, no doubt strong winds, but it's here where we're expecting the rotation to continue to track. And that's why this is the area that is under that tornado warning, that until 3 o'clock. And you see the red outline there, that being the tornado warning, the edge of Four Corners through North Vernon. North Vernon, you probably hear hardly a raindrop right now, but look at what is heading your direction. This is going to continue to head that way. Chris, do you want to take over with Max 4?
Yeah, let's take a look at Max 4 right now. I'm showing you the area of rotation. The strongest thunderstorm cell has now moved on through Seymour, just north of Fleming. It's just south of Jonesville and Elizabethtown, now pounding Scipio along State Road 7. Strong rotation within that storm. Winds are rotating within the storm about 60 miles per hour up aloft, and we're hoping they stay aloft and not down on the ground. So far this afternoon, all of our tornado warnings here in central Indiana have been Doppler radar indicated tornado warnings. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And also don't forget about the wind advisory in effect for winds that may gust up around 55 miles per hour this afternoon. So let's move the radar a little bit more, because I see that storm now moving more